Hello everyone, my name is 1132 Crazy Masters, and we're back with some more Everlasting Summer. Now, I don't know if any of you noticed, but my microphone, my voice, sounds so much better. I hope you all enjoy this, because I finally got it to work, and now we're good. So let's get right back into it, shall we? Now, last place we fell into the hole, and we're with her right now. It's been a little bit since I've read this, so. Put it away. Alyssa was squatting next to me and looking at me nervous in a nervous manner. Any limbs broken? I don't know. I've moved my hands and feet. Everything seemed to be fine. Given the height, I was pretty lucky to make it down alive. Get out of here, hair-pulling simulator. Gah. I barely managed to stand up and examine the crash site. Indeed, we were in some kind of long corridor. There was some kind of heavy wiring all along the walls, and lamps encased in heavy metal holders attached to the ceiling. In any other situation, I would have guessed that it's a subway service tunnel, but it was hardly likely that Sovjonic has already reached such a level of infrastructure. Where are we? I don't know, but we have to get out of here. Climbing the crumbled wall was hardly an option. In fact, I was wondering how we even survived a fall from such a height. Well, it seems that we've got to find an exit somewhere else. How do we do that? Alyssa asked, slowly turning pale. Not a single trace of her usual arrogance remained on her face. Well, I guess there's gotta be an exit here, right? Probably, but which way do we go? Now that's a good question. At first glance, it seemed like a good idea to head towards the camp, at least in the direction I thought it was, but I hadn't seen anything there that resembled an exit from the catacombs, and that means that we should rather try the opposite direction. Give me that. I snatched the flashlight from Alyssa's hand. It pointed its light into the darkness. That way. Dots. We were slowly proceeding forward, with Alyssa keeping a firm grip on my hand. In other circumstances, I might have been surprised, embarrassed, or even rejoiced. How should I know? But right now I was just eager to get out of here as soon as possible. My bruises from the fall were aching. The blood was pulsing in my head like a heavy pendulum. Even the flickering spotlight that kept illuminating the same cement walls continually wasn't exactly raising our morale. Damn, there's also Sherlock. What? Why did we go into the night forest in the first place? To find Sherlock? Oh, just forget him. He might have fallen down here, just like us. Of course, Alyssa has a point. This wasn't exactly the best time to engage in a search mission. If we don't manage to get out, there would be a search mission for us instead. But I couldn't just take my mind off this thought. It was as if Sherlock was standing right before my eyes, giving me a reproachful look. Look out! Alyssa yelled. I almost crashed into a massive metal door. A biohazard sign immediately caught my eyes. This means that we're in a bomb shelter, I mumbled under my breath. Yeah, I've heard of something like that. You have? Why didn't you mention it before? How would I know it'd be important? I guess you're right. Fine. I grasped the door's wheel and pushed it as hard as I could, trying to turn it. The rusty metal grated, but it refused to budge. Stop slacking, help me. Alyssa hesitated a little, but then grasped the handle I started to pull. Finally, we managed to turn the wheel and the door opened. It was hard to mistake the room we entered for anything else. It was definitely a bomb shelter. Cabinets full of gas masks and dry rations. Lots of equipment, bunk beds, and air recirculation systems. There was everything one would need to survive a nuclear war. Well, at least to survive the first blast. Alyssa clenched my arm even tighter. What is it?
What? What?
She blabbered under her breath.
I'm scared.
What are you scared of? Indeed, what of? We tumbled down into an abandoned bomb shelter. Now we're wandering here in the dark, trying to find an exit. Oh yeah, nothing to be afraid of. Those thoughts made me squirm, and I instinctively drew nearer to Alyssa. She didn't say a thing, just blushed a little and turned her head back to me. Well, in any case...
What?
We have to keep searching for an exit.
Well, there's another door.
Indeed, there was a door on the far wall, just like the one that we came in through. However, no matter how hard I tried to open it, it was stuck.
Need some help?
Nope, it's jammed for good. I glanced around the room, trying to find something that would work as a lever, and noticed a crowbar in the far corner. Great! Alyssa gave me a blank stare. Watch it. However, I still couldn't move the handle an inch, even using the crowbar. Jolly exhausted, I flopped on our neatly made bunk and gave a sigh. We have to walk back.
But we just came from there.
Alyssa seemed to regain a bit of her self-control, as well as usual rudeness. Well, you can stay here if you want. There's water, ration kits, probably the radio's still working. She looked at me spitefully, but said nothing. My whole body ached terribly. It was only now I tried to relax that I began to realize how badly. A deep wound on my leg was bleeding profusely. My hands were heavily bruised. Blood was thickening in my hair. And are you okay? I asked Alyssa, either just out of courtesy or because I was really worried about her. It took her some time to answer.
How can we be okay in a situation like this?
Well, I mean that. I pointed to the wound on my leg.
Oh,
cried Alyssa.
We need to sanitize it urgently.
No need. I'll survive.
Oh, stop. We must do it or you'll risk getting infected, and then they'll take your leg off. My granddad lost his leg that way in the war.
Alyssa looked truly concerned, and I decided not to argue. Okay, but it's kind of a long way to the infirmary.
Hang on.
She smiled and started to rummage through the cabinets. There was a fair chance of finding some kind of medicine in a bomb shelter. And soon enough, Alyssa pulled out a first aid kit with a triumphant look.
Okay, hold still.
Oh, I'll try. Treating the wound with an iodine-soaked cotton swab felt like the touch of a red-hot iron. I clenched my teeth hard and hissed with pain.
Oh, come on. It's not that painful.
It is. Maybe you should try yourself. It was easy with my other wounds, and soon enough I looked like a leopard, all covered in brown spots. Thanks.
Don't you think that was anything special? We just had to treat your injuries.
Alyssa snorted and turned her back on me. Sure. I refrained from arguing and got up from the bunk. Even a short rest had definitely been good for me. Well, shall we go? Alyssa clenched my arm, walking close in step with me. We headed back slowly, carefully looking for a hole in the ceiling. The tunnel seemed endless. We couldn't find the place where we fell down, not after 5 or even 10 minutes.
Are we lost?
Alyssa asked sadly. It might be possible to get lost in the forest. It just came to me that that's exactly what we'd accomplished half an hour ago. So to refrain from scaring her even further, I continue with confidence. But this is a single straight tunnel. You can't get lost here.
So, where are we gonna end up then?
My words didn't seem to calm Alyssa down enough. We'll get out of here. There's always an exit.
Really?
Of course there is. The workers that built it somehow got back up to the surface, didn't they?
Yeah, I guess.
It appeared that she was trying hard to look as bold as usual, but it wasn't turning out well. In the dim light, it was evident that Alyssa was shivering. A look of extreme exertion was plastered on her face. Fine, let's move forward. Another hole? In a few minutes, I noticed a hole in the floor. It looked like a shell crater, large enough to get ourselves through.
What's down there?
Hell if I know. I kneeled and pointed the light downward and stamped ground some kind of rail tracks. Must be a mine. Alyssa looked at me questioningly. Of course, we could easily sidestep the hole, but my instincts insisted that we wouldn't encounter anything good proceeding down the tunnel either. There'd be either a dead end or yet another jammed door. On the other hand, it was naive to believe that we'd find an exit in the mines. We could give it a try. In the worst case, we'd just come back. It's low enough to let us climb back up later. Her face took on a suffering expression, and Alyssa turned away from the light and quietly said,
If you say so.
As I thought, we were in a mine. Miles of rust-eaten tracks stretched far away down the corridors. I could virtually see the overload minecarts creaking along these tracks ages ago. The walls were propped up by rotten beams and water occasionally dripping from the ceiling. I wasn't sure whether it was scarier here or in the catacombs of the bomb shelter above. I'd say that up there was like a post-apocalypse setting, and down here, occult medievalism reigned. In any case, I was even more eager to get out of here, and do so as soon as possible. Alyssa didn't utter a word after we descended into the mine. She just walked next to me, clenching my hands so hard I started to worry. Are you alright?
No.
She said quietly. I understand that it can't be okay, but how are you holding up?
Fine.
She replied with that indifferent voice. That's good, because I really want to say, because if you go nuts too, it's going to be a massacre. Because we will find an exit. We'll definitely find one.
Yeah.
Seems she wouldn't last much longer. We should go faster. I quickened my steps when we reached a fork after a couple of dozen meters. Well,
So which way?
Alyssa seemed to have completely disconnected from the outer world and didn't worry about what would happen to us or how we could leave this place. Well, let's think. To the left or to the right? And what if we get lost? I decided to put a mark on the wall in case we get lost and return to this spot again. Soon, a large cross scratched with a stone decorated one of the beams. So, now we're ready to go. Well, that way is green and pointing left. So let's go right. I hope this isn't ending. Make me upset. It seems that there's another fork in the road. Let's go left this time. It seems that there's another fork in the road. Good Lord. Alright, left again. Seems there's another fork in the road. Right. Left. Left. There we go. We came to some kind of miner's camp. Picks and helmets everywhere. A rusty wagon stood in the corner. All the items were so old they dated from the beginning of the 20th century rather than the middle. So this really is a mine, which means we could wander around here for ages without finding a way out. But I sensed that exit was somewhere nearby, and so we went further. Oh my goodness. Alright, the way I know it is that In any maze, if you hug the left wall, you will eventually make it out, no matter what. So we're going to stick with going left. We were here just a few minutes ago. Okay. Let's go left. 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 Right. Left. Right. Right. Left. Left. Right. Hey! Finally, we came out of a tunnel into some kind of hall with a high ceiling. Though it could hardly be called a hall, they must have used to mine something here. Coal, probably, or maybe gold. The walls had been cut by pickaxes or pneumatic drills. This place was pitch black, so our only salvation was the flashlight. If it breaks, it's unlikely that we'll ever get out of here. I noticed a red piece of cloth in its light. It was Pioneer's handkerchief. Shurik was obviously here somewhere. Shurik! Shurik! Only Mayuko responded to me.
Why are you shouting? It's not like he can hear you.
You never know. Alyssa didn't reply, just sighed. There was no other exit from this hall. Obviously, it's quite possible that there are some nooks in this tunnel. These tunnels we haven't checked yet. So we have to keep looking. Oh my goodness. Alright, we're gonna do a lot of rights this time. 3 rights. Following the curve, I saw a wooden door in the torchlight. Here you go, here's something.
Think so?
Alyssa looked a little refreshed. Sure. Frankly speaking, I really wasn't sure that there would be an exit behind this door. But it wasn't like we had any choice anyway. I pulled the handle. We found ourselves in some kind of room that resembled either a boiler room or a utility room under the bomb shelter. Empty bottles, cigarette butts, and other bits of debris littered the floor. That proves that there is an exit from these caves. I scanned the room with the flashlight, and in the farthest corner I saw Shurik, doubled up and trembling all over. Hey, sweet, we found Shurik. Let me get this out of the way. Shurik! Who is that? He stammered. Shurik, we've been looking for you all night, and you're just sitting here? Get up!
I'm not going anywhere.
He started quietly. With every word, his voice gained strength until he was shouting at the top of his lungs.
No, I won't go with you anywhere. You don't exist. You aren't here anyway. It's a hallucination. It's unscientific. Yeah, unscientific.
What do you mean by, you aren't here? Here we are. We came searching for you. Alyssa had remained silent until now, and then she let go of my hand and took a few steps towards Shurik. What are you doing? I asked quietly. She hesitated for a moment, but proceeded as if not hearing me. Finally, having come close to the lost pioneer, Alyssa fetched him a scathing slap across the face.
We nearly died searching for you. Those damn woods at night, that bomb shelter, these freaking mines. I'm one massive bruises thanks to you. And you what? You're just hanging out, drinking booze and seeing pink spiders? You bastard.
Shurik stared at her with a bemused look.
Now then, get your ass up and move. No.
He began to whisper quietly.
No.
Somewhere deep inside me, on the very edge of my awareness, I got a feeling that something really bad was going to happen now. It happened. A premonition, an intuition, or just an analysis of the situation. From the way Shurik was sitting, or the expression on his face, hinted at his following actions. And probably all of that together, I rushed to Alyssa, the light furiously jumping all over the room and highlighting Shurik's face for a second, twisted it with madness. He was wielding a metal rod, and if I'd been a moment too late, he would definitely have smashed in Alyssa's head with it. But I made it. Everything was like a dream. The distant shout of a girl. A hollow thud. The flashlight going out and the eerie silence, except for the heavy breathing of Shurik. It took me a while to come to my senses. What are you doing, you jerk? I checked my arm and it felt okay. The blue landed on the flashlight. So now we were in complete darkness.
You won't get it. Won't get me.
Shurik's hysterical laughter was quickly fading away in the distance. Hey! Hey! Where are you going? Get back here now!
Won't get.
The yell vanished into the distance. What a freak. I've tried to fix the flashlight in the darkness. No way. Shurik could smash it into pieces with his rod. Then I suddenly thought of Alyssa. Are you okay? I heard a quiet sob. At the same instant I felt our embrace, hugging me tightly. Okay. It's okay. It's all over now. Everything's fine. In fact, nothing was fine. But I needed her to get a grip on herself, otherwise we stood no chance of getting out of here alive. I tenderly caressed her head. I wonder, Alyssa crying? Is that a funny thing? No, it's not. If she's crying, it's bad. Maybe in different circumstances.
I'm scared.
It's okay. I'm scared too. I noticed the strong and sudden transformation in Alyssa. But, what the heck, anyone would be scared in these circumstances. Moreover, she's a girl. Oh, what's that supposed to mean, you dick? But why aren't I scared? No, not scared. Why am I still able to keep my mind clear and speak sense? Might it be because I have to worry about more than just myself? Okay, come on. We have to get out of here anyway.
Hold on, just a sec.
Said Alyssa quietly, and the room became illuminated by the dim flicker of a lighter's flame. Where did that come from?
The statue.
She forced a gentle smile and handed me the lighter. All right. I quickly swept my eyes over the room, searching for something that could be used as a torch. There were some tattered rags and a rod among the debris on the floor. One of the bottles contained some liquid that smelled like industrial alcohol. For better or for worse, in a minute I was holding something that resembled a flaming torch in my hands. I don't know how long it'll last, so we gotta move quickly.
Where to?
Alyssa seemed to be returning to her senses. Let's go back. At least we'll reach the bomb shelter. For one thing, there's light there. She gave me a quick nod and took my hand. The torch was burning poorly. We had to reignite it every other minute. One didn't have to be an oracle to predict an extremely short lifespan for the rag we were using. I became more and more afraid that we wouldn't leave the darkness in the mine. You wouldn't rely too much on just the lighter. However, we reached the hole that led up to the catacombs quite fast. It seemed that I memorized the route after all. Dear Lord. I don't know if you could hear that, but that was loud and shit. Somebody dropped something. Anyway, we struggled to get up, scrambling over the rocks almost blindly.
Okay, where are we going now?
Asked Alyssa, getting her breath back. What do you mean? We're going to that room with the bunks and the cabinets.
Which way is that?
Oh no, I hope you guys can't see that. Hope you didn't see that. My PC tech hotline popped up. Hopefully you didn't see it. Anyway, opened my mouth to reply, but suddenly realized that I hadn't the slightest idea. The hole looked the same from all sides, just like the walls, the floor, and the ceiling. We hadn't a single hint to indicate the right direction. Well,
don't you know?
Alyssa asked sadly and sat on the ground. No. I replied quietly, put out the torch to preserve it and sat next to her.
Are we gonna die here?
She rested her head upon my shoulder. Alyssa's voice sounded flat. One might even say calm, but I could feel that her body was trembling, either with cold or with fear, or with both combined. Don't be silly. Sure, things are getting worse, but they're still pretty far from we're gonna die. They'll come and rescue us in the morning. Olga will call the police, so I'd love to believe that myself.
I see.
Yeah. I lost track of time sitting there. I was afraid to go forward or backward. I was afraid to make a choice. The torch definitely wouldn't last both ways. Wandering in total darkness without any source of light was definitely worse than waiting for the rescue here. This way, at least we would have some light left for an emergency. Suddenly a rumbling started echoing in the distance. Well, here's that emergency. That was definitely the clink of door bolts mixed in that rumbling. Get up. I actually pulled Alyssa to her feet and lit the torch with shaking hands.
What is it?
She asked in dismay. I don't know, but it seems there's someone. We have to run. To be honest, I wasn't sure that it was such a good idea. What if the mad shriek is there? And in fact, that's the least of all the evils I can imagine. But we had no choice left. The stones scattered beneath our feet. I desperately tried not to fall down, holding my hand with the torch out in front and dragging Alyssa with the other. She ran along in silence, breathing heavily. I really wanted to look back at her, but I didn't have the strength or time. Finally, the outline of the door appeared before us, and I leaped into the bomb shelter, readying myself to fight any foe that was there. And we're gonna find out who that foe is in the next episode. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!